All right, guys. Good morning. It's the short bear. Tell me if you can hear me or not. Let's see. You should, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So let's get started right away. Today I was watching a couple of tickers. CLVS was one I was watching, or I wanted to watch. Shortly yesterday near 12:50, and it faded nicely into the close. And I was thinking, all right, it had its bounce. And I'm looking basically for a trend continuation to the downside after the couple of nice days we saw, last week, where it really started fading down, right? So I was watching it, and so yesterday and this morning I just completely forgot about it and missed it. I think I would have missed it anyways, just because it crashed right away. And yeah, I'm still, I have it on one of my charts, but the small one, just kind of to watch it into the midday action, to see if we could maybe get some kind of midday, late day kind of continuation fade, curl down type of move. I was also looking at TCCO, as you know, yesterday. I lost on it, and this morning I was watching it, not necessarily to take a trade, but just to see how it reacts. If it happened and I saw some kind of really nice opportunity, I would have maybe taken it, but it wasn't really my intention this morning, and the locate price was pretty expensive, so didn't feel like the right move. We're having kind of a $1 kind of range today on it, and the locates were what, like 15 cents or something, and I'm not ready to pay like 15% of the move for the locates. Otherwise, I was watching PTI and CI. PTI, why was I watching it? Well, because on the daily, it looks like a really nice breakout, right? Over $4, and it's kind of, I don't know how many of you guys were watching kind of the stocks like Roku, BYND, and all that stuff. But basically, I thought they might use the most kind of obvious area for long to basically unload, right? Those areas where it breaks out over some kind of resistance, whatever. They're often used as an exit, because the most people will be looking for long, so they're going to start unloading into that buying pressure, and just sell the stock. And as this one has been kind of pumped since below $1, I thought this might be it today, and as it turned out, no, it wasn't, right? So started shorting. So when it crashed at the open and kind of popped to VWAP and rejected, I thought, all right, trend continuation now. Move to like 4 or below that. At least 4 was the first area of support that I was watching, and then it started kind of absorbing. So you see the wicks basically absorbing back up. So pushing over VWAP. I was watching it, and as we pulled back to VWAP and kind of popped, felt heavy. So started in that, added onto the crack, and then as it reclaimed, stopped out again. But again, not much volume on that push. So reshorted a bit, and then as it kind of started moving back up and putting in higher lows, I closed it up, and I got some slippage on that, which is not nice at all, but it is what it is. So loser on that one, PTI, and then I was watching PTI. This one I couldn't get locates on this morning at first, but as I said and as I posted in chat, this one had an 8K that came out saying basically that they're limited regarding the authorized shares. So before that, they had basically the max amount, like 200 million or whatever. And now it's down to 5 million, which means the dilution part on this one, on this ticker, which everyone is looking at, of course, changed in a big way. It doesn't mean that, this one should run, right? Shouldn't mean that it should run just because they're, allowed to dump less. They're still allowed to dump some, and at the same time, we've got a lot of bag holders. We've got other forms of dilution on this one, and basically I was watching it for some kind of short squeeze where shorts kind of the first shorts, the shorts that didn't read the filings, that didn't know they're gonna try to short right away, and it could have happened, right? So the kind of setup we got at the open was nice for a really big dump because they made it look strong, and usually when they try to hold it up to form a range, whatever, for a breakout, it usually fails, in a big way, and it really, just gets destroyed. And on this one, we held. All right, so this one is an exception. It held, moved up, got parabolic over to, and then kind of pulled back towards VWAP. And as we kind of cracked VWAP and reclaimed it, I wanted a long, but I never got a dip. So it moved from $2 all the way to 220. And yeah, from there just continued up, broke out, and just never looked back. And yeah, I couldn't trade that. I couldn't trade it because the risk reward wasn't there for me. I didn't expect to push to 285. And but as we pushed to 285, I was watching it because, as I told you before, pre-market, I was watching for a pop towards 250. So a parabolic over 250 interests me as well. And I was finally able to get locates as well, which was really nice. Basically shorts, getting squeezed and not needing the shares anymore. So it makes for some room for locates to be available, and that's what I took advantage of. So I took the locates, and as we went parabolic towards 280, I was watching for some kind of heaviness. And as we moved to 270, at first we had some big orders there. Kind of parabolic through it, just shorts, panicking, and over to 80, we started, getting really heavy and taking out bids, and the buying pressure didn't feel nearly as big as before. So I took a step there, got my shares in at 270. I tried 280, I got filled to 75, and that's where I'm in from. Still holding it. I'm okay with getting stopped out and restarting the idea higher, because it's going to give me more meat, basically. And yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at. So push. So if we start, failing now, I'll be looking for a complete gap fill. So at least red to green, 180s, and maybe lower. But we'll need to see the first big wash, how far we make it. So, if we start dumping from 260 all the way to 220 in one candle, of course, my target will not be the same as if we just start fading and don't get that big red candle. But the volume is fading right now, which is pretty nice. So the breakout towards 285 was on lower volume than before, so we're seeing volume divergence as well. Always a really nice thing to see on those runners. Gives me kind of a clue about what is happening here, if it's real buyers or short squeeze kind of volume or whatever. And this volume was pretty low, and it's continually getting lower and lower, which lets me think that they're going to need to figure something out to get some volume in there, because otherwise they're not going to be able to unload what they might have accumulated. I'm talking about manipulators now. Yeah, so this move right now, that's exactly what I wanted to see. We've got some bid propers at 250, and now I'm full size right now. I'm full size to 75. So yeah, I'll be looking for that. Should be able to make back the PTI loss. It's not the main target to make the loss back. I'm just talking about, I'm never trying to make the losses back, because you're going to get into really big trouble the one time you try to do that. But from the target perspective, it's gonna make my money back on PTI. But we'll see. I don't care about getting stopped out. 210, pretty easy. The explanation pretty easy. It's just because it was the first pullback. It's not, the first pullback is not really likely to be the top. Not on those kind of parabolic kind of squeezes. It still felt like a lot of shorts were in and getting squeezed, and and I, the nice thing is I didn't have locates as well, so I couldn't even if I tried, you know. But I was actually looking at it at 235, so on that bounce, because I wanted to get a short there, and you know the big flush. But as soon as I saw the big flush, so I wasn't in because I didn't have any looks. But once it kind of washed, right away the next candle, the buying started coming in again, and I felt that was really really odd for this kind of move where you know big stuff and so on. But like the volume wasn't that big on the stuff. We bounced right away. We supported VWAP, and then we started grinding down on the VWAP. It really looked really weird. So if I would have gotten short there, I would have cut it at 222, so 235 entry, and then you know crashes down, gets on the VWAP, and then reclaims VWAP resistance. The next resistance level is going to be my stop, so 223, and that's where you know I would have cut it most likely, maybe even before on the reclaim, but I think I would have stopped out there for you know a 10-cent win, and from there you know as I said I was looking for long for the push, but we just never pulled back. We just went you know straight up. Um, so yeah, that's one. On PCI, I'm not going to look for a trade anymore. Just by the way, I'm going to be looking at it. I'll have it on a small chart for the afternoon, but I think you know if they wanted to unload today, they would have done it already. Um, but I really thought today might be the day where it's like you know gap up over that area, so it's not even you know big volume pushing it over the breakout area. The locates were kind of restricted here and there at some points, at least with my broker, and you know it looked nice here and there, but then you know they started swiping the offers and so on, which is never nice. I'm short CI, I'm not long. Yeah. All right. Do we have any questions about any tickers? It's you know those tickers are the tickers I'm personally watching. If you guys have any tickers you'd like me to go over, I'll be glad to do that. So just tell me, you know. And yeah, if not, as always, I'm available in my DMs and in chat the whole day. So don't hesitate to hit me up. I'll give it a few more seconds here to see if you guys have any questions. Yeah, AUPH. I heard here and there in chat that you guys were watching it. I didn't even pull it up once. Um, just because, you know, as I told you before, I really didn't like the action we saw on the first initial kind of fading day where it was like, yeah, if they really use the ATM, I think they don't have anything left. And that might cause a squeeze on day two, and that's exactly what we got. It's just you know it's a bigger cap. There's no special event today like a gap up or news or whatever. You know it supported the past few days accumulating shares, and you know there's just no trade for me personally, at least for my kind of rules, my strategies. There's no play at all on this one, not today. We'd need some big news or whatever. So 250 getting taken out, 40 wash, not really the wash I was looking for. I was looking for more like VWAP area on that wash. Didn't get it, but at least now we've got some nice volume in range in the 260s. The next volume kind of area is going to be 225-ish, where you know the next most volume has been traded. So I'll look for that. But once we're under there, you know it should be super super heavy because now you know now the longs from 260 area are on the water. Next long, so that should push it up, push it down to the next kind of long area where the next longs are, and if we get under there, you know, we'll have two long areas that should be bagged, so that should make for you know some nice sounding pressure. PCI nice watch there. Not looking at it as I said. Now we're gonna where we take support area to. Um, Now that's nicer though on CI. You know, 230s. That's what I'm talking about. Nicer. You know, now it's just about you know holding it, move the stops down as it moves down, keep it tight, and yeah, that should make it. All right, I'll leave you. And yeah, as I said, don't hesitate to ask any questions. That's what we're here for.